I'm a pretty impatient sort of person, and when I want something, I want it straight away, now. Any fast-moving manufacturer would love the same from its suppliers and to never run out of stock. Today I'm at Vendorvillage in Carrickfergus. Vendorvillage is a world first for Northern Ireland and has moved just-in-time management forward to a new supply chain management system using an e-commerce solution. The result, a global supply base on the manufacturing company's doorstep, which is said to offer real advantages to the supplier and manufacturer. Well, let's go inside to see if we can turn virtual reality into actual reality. So Mark, we're inside the warehouse, but what actually happens here?
Well, outside of the actual virtual systems that's involved with the process, this is the actual engine room, and perhaps the simplest way to give you a fuller understanding of the processes involved in the operation would be to let Gavin, our Vendorvillage manager, walk you through.
Hello Gavin.
Hello Donna.
Pleased to meet you. So you're going to give me a bit of a tour today?
Indeed, yes.
Well, let's get started.
Let's go.
So Gavin, what does go on in here?
Well Donna, what we simply provide here is a storage facility for goods from local and international vendors. The goods are stored in this environment which is web enabled, and that is really the difference that this facility provides. The computer system in place here gives full visibility to all vendors supplying goods through the warehouse and to the end user, the production operation at the other side, if you like. So basically everything in the warehouse you see here on the racks is barcode controlled on receipt to the warehouse, and that gives the visibility to the end user and the vendor across the whole supply chain.
So when a shipment comes into the warehouse here, what process does it actually go through?
When we receive a shipment, Donna, into the warehouse physically, we've already received an electronic pre-alert from the software which has been created by the vendor who shipped the goods. The goods are checked on receipt for integrity, part number, quantity, quality, etc. And on confirmation of this, the system generates a barcode, a FIFO barcode, which controls the first in, first out mechanism in the warehouse. On application of the barcode to the freight is scanned to a stock location on the racks in the warehouse. The radio frequency scanning we have in place here is absolutely unique in the industry and operates real time. So the second we scan to a rack location, that item becomes stock and is therefore available to the manufacturer for call off immediately. The control the vendor has with the software and the control we have in the warehouse, the entire supply chain can be controlled, and at any stage you can identify where the goods are in the supply chain.
When does customs get involved in this process?
The facility is fully bonded. It's a Type A bond. We hold goods from several vendors here in a Type A environment in the bonded facility. The advantage to the manufacturer is that he doesn't have to purchase the goods in inverted commas until he calls off from stock. So there's no VAT or duty payable on those items until he calls the items from stock here. We clear them via CFSP mechanism, which is reduced the clearance time on bonded freight from this facility from day and a half to minutes.
On the face of it, the benefits for the manufacturer are quite transparent. He is basically having immediate availability of stock requirements from multiple suppliers, normally based around the world. The availability comes from literally the village of his vendors in proximity to his manufacturing site. Therefore gives him the comfort factor of being able to respond to any urgent market demand pulls and up his production accordingly. Another key advantage is the actual time management for the purchaser within the manufacturing company to be able to assess immediately the stock available and to place an order on that stock within minutes, saving telephone calls, waiting for companies perhaps overseas to feed into the right time zones and so on. In addition to the manufacturer not having to hold high value of inventory on his books, the duty and taxation liabilities are also deferred until time of call-off or purchase, thus bringing additional cash flow benefits to the manufacturer. The manufacturer also has access to a full report suite within the system, which allows planning and forecasting within his own company. One of the things that runs like a common thread throughout Vendorvillage is the simplicity of the system itself. This is vital when manufacturers and vendors alike are being brought on. There's minimal training requirement, and the only hardware usage literally is a PC and a web browser. Once a manufacturer has decided to run with a vendor managed inventory program, the next step is to get the buy-in from his vendors. So for that purposes, we have developed a roadshow, if you like, where we can actually up sticks and go and visit vendors overseas, explain the processes. And indeed here we have our customer demonstration unit, where if vendors and or manufacturers alike would like to see the process working, we can easily demonstrate it from three perspectives: the supplier, Vendorvillage, if you like, being the hub, and the manufacturer or the buyer process. One of the key issues for a vendor is now that his stock, although he owns it, is housed overseas in a strange country and in a strange warehouse. So we have to give him the confidence that although he is housing his product remotely, it has been well looked after. The system itself gives him full visibility of his stock, any orders being placed by the manufacturer, and the complete process through to end delivery to the manufacturer. So this virtual warehouse, if you like, builds a confidence where he is receiving information and reports which are probably far and above that of his own stockroom in his own building. Surprisingly, one of the key advantages that we have discovered in relation to the vendor was relayed back to us by a supplier themselves. And that was that the visibility that the system brings has resulted in reduced or no invoice queries with his customer, the manufacturer. The open book policy that we have throughout the system allows suppliers to see delivery performance, in addition to that, receipt and put away performance, i.e. how we, in relation to providing this product, are actually performing on their behalf throughout the process. As with the manufacturers, the vendor now has an improved planning tool and use and metrics and key performance metrics to allow him to forecast and plan the requirements of his manufacturer. Overall, one of the key advantages is that the supplier becomes a real value-added vendor and is adding value to the supply chain process and therefore adding value to his customer, the manufacturer. Actually, one of the major pluses about the system is that we could literally teach anyone to use it within 10 minutes.
The whole Vendorvillage concept was the brainchild of IFS Group Managing Director Graham Hanna, who felt that businesses were being offered just-in-time procurement when what they really needed was supply chain solutions to meet exact demands.
I think that the biggest moment in terms of concept to delivering was taken when we realised using the World Wide Web we could get into our vendors with absolutely no hardware. It was just a conventional web browser. So instead of us worrying how we were going to go around the world and how we were going to sell this large concept in terms of control, we had quite an easy sell in the end of the day. So the e-commerce part to what we were bringing, the visibility aspect of it was going to be much easier to roll out on a global stage. It's a business process. I'd like to describe it as it's something like a 5,000 or 10,000 piece jigsaw puzzle. And instead of giving the pieces to our customer, we give them all in sequence. So it's much easier for them to readily complete the full picture. And you take it on a global stage, each of these individual pieces of the jigsaw can be coming from anywhere in the world. So that adds to the complication, but also from our perspective, we deliver the simplicity through our system in that way. Short term was to provide an e-commerce full VMI solution. Medium term was to test all facets of our software, our hardware, our physicals in our warehousing, etc. And the long term was to explore the potential opportunities that a franchise model could bring. The fact that it's an e-commerce tool written on an e-commerce platform, it offers exceptional simplicity. It offers good transparency and visibility for our customers. It increases their cycle turns. It offers them an inexpensive way to access information from their vendors right the way through the supply chain. We feel it's an exceptional tool for them to use and for us to offer. In general terms, the logistics industry in Ireland is a very, very important level and platform for the business. Manufacturing industries require high levels of logistics support. Having something as fresh and as dynamic as Vendorvillage, as homegrown as Vendorvillage is, coming from Northern Ireland, we feel exceptionally proud of being able to produce that. It is what's required for our economy for the future. and it's something that we will certainly invest in time and effort to push forward with.
We've heard about the strategy and the vision. Now it's time to talk to the people who produce the other vital ingredient, the e-solution. It enables the whole business to work. Now, the internet solution was developed by people here at Web Design Solutions, also known as WDS. It links all three parties together, the vendors, the hub, and the manufacturers. It's very fast, very accurate, and above all else, it's simple to use.
It came about, we'd been working with IFS for quite a few years. We developed their website. They asked us to develop more complicated things like online tracking, rate calculators. They were going out into the global marketplace to source out a solution for warehouse management and supply chain. As a result, they found that everything was very complicated, and they came to us and said, could we create a bespoke solution for them? And as a result, then Vendorvillage was born.
How does the process work as an e-solution?
It's a very easy to use interface. It was designed with a lot of the decision making behind the scene so that the people on the ground didn't really have to put a lot of the thought process. That way then it enables a lot of control, and therefore then the stock accuracy is very good. We find now that it's so easy to use that training is kept to a minimum. Implementation is very short, and people can get up and running very quickly.
What sort of feedback have you received?
A lot of very good feedback. Obviously the awards have helped in relation to giving us sort of, I suppose, credibility within, the industries that we're working with, but also just because we do work a lot with the people on the ground, we get a lot of feedback to say that, the system's easy to use, there's good results, there's major cost benefits for the people that are using it.
And back in the warehouse, the system is clearly working.
Take the shipment, for example. This originated in the USA from one of our vendors, Kennametal. It's welding rods for drill bits. It has just cleared customs 2 minutes ago and is now about to be dispatched from the facility to delivery on the last mile to the manufacturer's premises.
Well, I think it would be a good idea for me to go to see where these boxes actually end up and to hear from the manufacturer what he thinks of Vendorvillage. So from Vendorvillage in Carrickfergus to the manufacturer, Hughes Christensen Engineering Company here in Belfast. That didn't take too long, did it? Now inside those boxes, these metal rods which are used in the engineering works here. Paul, how has working with Vendorvillage helped your company?
Well, Donna, up until a year ago we were dealing with Kennametal Nevada directly. They're in the middle of the Arizona desert. Logistics, getting them to us was horrendous, could have been 1 week to 2 weeks. Since switching to Vendorvillage, we now can have the product within hours.
What has that actually done to your costs?
Our costs a year ago on inventory holding was approximately $100,000. This time, just at the end of September, for a quarter end, our inventory was $20,000. So we saved 75% on our inventory holding.
And in getting that supply so quickly from Vendorvillage, how has that affected your turnover?
Our inventory turns last year with the old system was around about 6 turns per year. We now have 24 turns per year using Vendorvillage.
What actually happens to these metal rods when they get here?
Well, the rods are used to put tungsten carbide onto the teeth of our product to help the durability of the rock bit when it's drilling down hole.
And does it make a difference that you don't actually have to store these products here at your factory?
Excellent. The factory of the last few years has put ourselves into a flow line, so space is of the essence. So I can hold 2 months stock at Vendorvillage in their warehouse. I just need to hold 1 week stock here.
What difference does it make to you that this is an e-commerce solution, that it's all done through computers?
It means that even when I have my laptop at home, and if I've forgotten to do it at work, I can key straight into Vendorvillage from home, password, put the order on, and it's not 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
What we have seen is a glimpse of tomorrow today. The Vendorvillage is the way forward. What started off as a vision and grew into a virtual system is now a successful working reality. It's come a long way in a short time, and I look forward to seeing it grow even further.